Hello.
Hello.
What's up, Veronica?
Wow, long time no see.
Long time no see. It's been one whole week. 70.
Yeah, one whole week.
Not 72 hours. Wow, that was weird. I feel
Counting is hard.
counting is hard.
Fine.
Don't worry about it. End of the workday. It's a Monday. I hate this. But welcome. This is episode. Oh, it's really hard.
75?
Okay. Yeah, 75. Wow.
75.
See, I knew that. I was testing
I'm
you.
a hijack. I am the captain now.
75 of the NgoVo Convo Podcast, or two stupids, pretty stupid on one end, makes a hype.
Right.
That's right. Hype.
Hype.
Now I'm confused. But don't worry, because I'm one of your hosts, Harrison No, and I'm joined by Veronica Vo.
I'm here.
She's on my right, left.
Right?
It's my right. No, my
You're right.
my left. Don't worry about it. See, this is why directions are hard. I should read One Piece at some point. But
You
if
will.
you're new here, we just want to excuse to talk about anything that ranges from anime to comics, or really just to catch up on our never-ending backlog.
It's about to be never ending.
It really is. No, it's already is. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some would say we're conversing.
Wow. Like NgoVo Convo, NgoVo Convo. Like the logo on top of Harrison's head.
Okay, now you're really hijacking. But you can watch every episode on youtube.com or listen to it as a podcast by searching up NgoVo Convo on your podcast service of choice.
We're on 10 different platforms.
All 10 and maybe more.
If you find us,
If you
let us
find us.
know.
If we're missing, let us know. But
Yeah.
in this episode, we're going to be talking about why DC can't do anything right movie-wise. DCEU, I guess, but
DCEU.
live action.
Yeah.
Yeah, live action. We'll touch
Yeah.
on that. But this is we're not, I guess you can't really get spoiled unless it's old enough. Let's be real here. There's some movies that we're going to be talking about that are 2011
Super
and beyond.
old. Yeah.
So be warned, I guess.
Well, there's a recent one, Black Adam.
There is a recent one, and
Yeah.
we'll kind of
And technically Peacemaker, I guess.
Okay, there are some things that we could possibly spoil. So we'll kind of
But-
give a heads up, I guess,
Sort
as
of.
best as we can. But be forewarned.
Yes.
But on that note, we're also sponsored by Anchor this episode. But we'll get into that later. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
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 But before we get into the topic, got some news.
News.
Got the news dumpy. News dumpy
Just a little
segment.
bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. A little dump.
Just a little bit.
Little
Dump. That sounds so wrong.
Does sound
We just
wrong.
gotta do a little dump.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, God.
All right. So just to start, anime wise, Vinland Saga 2, scheduled for January 8th, 2023, will be on Crunchyroll and Netflix. Wait,
Wait, read the italicized.
I'm sorry. Yes. Wrong ones. Oh, it's not that much. Okay. Love is War manga ends on November 2nd.
Which is coming up.
That's
Which is in 2 days.
As of recording, it's like in 2
As
days.
of recording.
Dang.
Dang.
All right, should I just read it? Or should I just...
I was just gonna ask you, should we just read it and just like
Nah.
see what if our predictions are right in season
We have an
3 episode?
unending backlog, Veronica. What are we talking about here?
And this unending includes manga.
Yeah, that's fair. That's not wrong. All right. And then in terms of Marvel, the Vision TV series called Vision Quest is in the works. Did you see this coming?
Yes.
I did not see this coming.
I did not see this
I
coming,
mean,
actually.
Paul Bettany doesn't, like, half the time, he just kind of sounds like he does whatever. Like, he's always like,
Yeah.
oh, if they give me a contract, sure. If they give me a show, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it was kind of expected with how WandaVision ended.
Ended? Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying.
If you haven't seen WandaVision,
boom. There's
there's a spoiler there.
oops.
Also, that was our very first episode
That was our very first episode.
for this podcast.
Yeah.
Just go all the way back, episode 1.
Or don't.
Or don't.
We might be bad. Who knows?
We still might be bad, Harrison.
Could be worse.
That's true.
But
But here we are.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm worried about it, but don't worry about it. But the last one, really sad. Unfortunate. Kind of weird.
It is.
The
But
Witcher.
it ties well to what we're about to talk about.
Kind of. Actually, yeah, kind of. Witcher. In terms of the Witcher show, the show for Netflix, Henry Cavill is leaving after season 3. Not because at first me and Veronica talked about it off camera, and we're like, is it season 4 he's leaving, or is it season 3 and then he's filming? It was like this weird, because the way it was phrased was weird. But finally, it was confirmed he's leaving after season 3. So season 4, Liam Hemsworth will be taking over as the role of Geralt of Rivia.
It'll be interesting.
What do you think about
They're
that?
They're gonna divert.
I don't know.
From the books and games. Liam looks so different from Henry. He's not beefy enough.
But that's the thing, though. For The Witcher, he's not that beefy. He's like there's like Henry Cavill, and then there's like legit, like, I guess.
There's Henry. There's his brother Chris. And then there's Liam.
Yeah.
But Liam has been bulking up in his recent posts.
Well, yeah, all I'm saying is Geralt is technically not supposed to be that massive, but it's still cool to see.
But I think it's Henry. I think it's Henry.
Yeah. It's just Henry being like a fucking monster. Honestly.
It's just Henry being Henry.
Yeah. Just Henry doing Henry things. But this may be alluded to a spoiler, possibly. I don't know. Is it?
I mean, you might just, say it, because it was a rumor, and, it's out.
We kind of mentioned
Henry
it last
has said
week,
it.
But yeah, he has said it. Henry's returning to the role of Superman, so speculation is most likely it's because he's returning, so that kind of conflicts with Netflix, maybe contracts and stuff, maybe timing and everything. But honestly, DC probably gave him a buttload of money.
Oh, Warner Brothers probably did give him a lot of money.
Yeah. Most likely.
Yeah.
But that's it for news. It's not too much. If you hear a train, that's on me. My bad.
I'm a little sad. I liked Henry as The Witcher. People are debating on Twitter. They were like, is he for The Witcher or is he for Superman? And I'm like, I don't know which one.
And it's weird, especially I feel like we finally got Witcher in a good spot. So it is. And my one thing is with Liam. Or my one thing is actually more with Henry, in that it was nice to know he played all the games. He read, I believe he read most of the source. He read the books, so he understands what's going on with The Witcher, Geralt, and all that stuff. I don't know if I can expect the same from Liam. That's the thing.
I don't think Liam's that nerdy.
Yeah, because Henry is known to be somewhat nerdy in that he played WoW.
Yeah.
He plays video games. He made a freaking PC. He paints figures. So it's this thing this
total opposites,
this view.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I guess we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. I was joking. I was like, if you were gonna get a Hemsworth, just get Chris.
Nah, he's too busy raking in Thor money, my guy.
That's true, but his daughter's about to rake it in for him.
Yeah, but then he's also just working out on his platform.
Yeah, it's true.
Too bad.
All true.
Too bad. But got anything else, Veronica?
I don't.
No? All right.
Nothing else.
No worries. Then on that note, we're going to take a quick break to talk about our sponsors.
On today's episode, we are sponsored by Anchor. It is a free podcast hosting service that we actually use. We've been using Anchor since we've started the podcast. It's because there are creation tools that allow us to record and edit the podcast right from our phones and computers. A huge plus for us is that Anchor would distribute our podcast to all platforms such as Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, and many more. It really is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one spot. Please download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, anchor.fm to get started.
And we're back.
Wow. So short.
So long. What? No, that was a long break. What are you talking about?
I mean, it was a long break. Yeah.
Yeah.
All 1 hour later.
Don't out us.
Oh my God.
All right, Veronica. So, main topic of today.
Yes.
Why is DCEU bad?
Well, first of all, before we even recorded, Harrison has this list on his spreadsheet, and I was like, oh, why don't you put Green Lantern on there? It's supposed to be on there too, right? And Harrison goes, no, it's technically started at Man of Steel. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I went, how many years not knowing that?
It was weird because I think Marvel came out like a little bit before, so then people are like expecting the jumpstart of DC with that same mentality, right? But if I could share my screen, I would, but I don't know if that'll mess with anything because I didn't prep that hard. But I made a spreadsheet.
I mean, you can screenshot it, put in the middle of the thing.
Yeah,
we'll
do that
later.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
But timestamp. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. But with that, I guess I'm trying to figure out how to start this. But essentially, do you feel like we've complained about this a lot on all our other podcasts, or just other episodes where it's like, oh, why can't DC do this right? Or Veronica would joke, DC doesn't exist. I'm like, it really doesn't. It has no backbone. I agree.
No.
But I kind of wanted to delve into this and look into. We're basing this all on review scores in a sense. Mm-hmm. We'll start off with just DC EU-esque movies, and then we'll include. So the gripe is, and someone made a good point. I don't remember if it was you or one of our other friends, but essentially DC cannot make a good movie other than Batman.
I was gonna say, which is true until I looked at some of these scores.
That's what I mean. That's why I kind of want to point out, like, there is like a mentality of like all the Batman movies do well, but I really do think we only think about certain ones.
The certain ones,
and that and I mean, in recent like decade, I'd say yes, that is probably the case.
But if we go back to when we were born,
if we go beyond, that's why I included those. So just to explain, I did include DC. So this is all live action only, because otherwise, if I include all the Batman, like if I include all the animated stuff, that's not fair. Because those do
that's not fair.
I honestly believe they do pretty well, but I also didn't want to like just put too much.
That could be a different episode.
Yeah.
DCAU.
Yeah, that could be, but it's only because like for Batman, like when you look at the top Batman scores, they include like Phantasm or like the Lego Batman even, right?
Lego Batman.
And I wasn't gonna include those. I think they're good. I just want to make it like somewhat consistent
and fair.
Yeah, and more fair. So live action only. And we're including. So like Veronica said, originally I was only going to include DCEU, but I think Green Lantern is a good baseline as well to explain that DCEU didn't start that bad. The bar was so low.
The bar was low.
So low that people were like, "Oh, Man of Steel's not that bad." We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
we'll go off.
We'll talk about it.
We'll sort through this stuff. But I guess, we'll just look at DCEU first. All right. So
yes.
I'm just going to pull up numbers just to like reminisce. So the oldest. Let's see. The oldest one, if we're including Green Lantern, is Green Lantern in 2011. Apologies, that's my door. And with that, it's funny because then after that, 2 years later, we have Man of Steel. But Green Lantern, everything's pretty low in that Rotten Tomato critic gave Green Lantern 26. Users thought 45. That sound about right?
Which isn't bad. Yeah. 45 was not bad. I thought it'd be lower.
45 is not bad.
Yeah.
But then
still failing, but
yeah. But then I also to add, I also looked into Rotten Tomato critic scores as well as IMDb and in Metacritic as
cool.
rating sites.
Like yeah.
Let's see.
Oh dang.
Yeah, so essentially Green Lantern got 26. Yeah. 39 Metacritic and then 5. And I really was hesitant to add IMDb because I'd say most of their stuff is above. No, I feel like most of their stuff is a 6 or above, which to me doesn't really tell me anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Except the one. There's one that is pretty bad, but it's on a different sheet. But I guess just to go with it, we'll talk about the recent ones just to give an idea. Actually, no. I'll pull the highest one. Let me pull the highest one.
Yeah, pull the highest one.
Sort by... Oh, shoot. Veronica, help. I don't do Google Sheets.
Oh, gosh.
I just realized.
As we're sorting.
Yeah. But I know for sure the highest one, actually, on this list for Rotten Tomato, it's actually hilariously it's Peacemaker.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, for critic scores, it's 94, and I'm like, what? And that's not the thing is it's not a movie, so it's kind of cheating. But it is a it's a part of the DCEU and it's live action.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me try to get it to go. I'll do users. Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. I did user critics. Did you want it differently? Which one did you want?
Can we do the Rotten Tomato critics? Yeah, that's fine. I think.
Okay. Yeah, I did tomato user.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the okay. Man, I wish I did this in Excel. Excel is way better than Google Sheets.
I know.
But I guess the top 3, if I remember correctly, or at least in Rotten Tomato, is this train is super loud. It just keeps going. Do you hear it? No?
Yeah. Okay, there it goes.
God.
Oh my god. I did the Rotten Tomato critic.
Thank you.
Percentage.
Sorry. Okay. So top 3 in terms of Rotten Tomato is actually Peacemaker, then Shazam, and Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. But that's and then after that is Wonder Woman, and then Birds of Prey. But that's critic scores for Rotten Tomato. I think Peacemaker makes sense. I liked Peacemaker a lot. We have an episode on that. Cough, cough.
Yeah.
What do you think about the rest, though? Does that kind of mix?
Shazam was a surprise because I don't remember much about it.
Mm-hmm.
Except for people complaining about Zach not filling up his suit, and then they had to like pad him. That was like the only thing I remember.
Yeah.
The Suicide Squad, that makes sense a little bit because James Gunn was the director, and he was directing the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, and it at the same time, so it does make sense a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman, I'm a little surprised by that. I don't remember anything.
I remember Wonder Woman was top when it first came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was in people's opinion, like the second coming of the DCU. They're like, oh, it can be saved. It was the top
they
one.
got disappointed. Yeah.
I thought it was pretty
They
good.
got a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Because then 1984 happened.
Yeah.
I have not seen Birds of Prey yet. Actually, I don't think you have either.
No, I have. I've watched it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought it was okay,
I'm the only one
but
out. Okay.
I thought it was okay, but I guess when I kind of match up with the Rotten Tomatoes score, where I was like, okay, it's decent, where it's a 79, but
yeah,
I know on Metacritic users gave it a 3.1, but I also don't know how many scores were given because how accurate is that, right? That's the issue. I didn't check that. But let me see. Can we sort by users real quick? I'm just curious.
Medic users?
Yeah.
Metacritic users?
Or Metacritic, sorry.
Metacritics.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that one, top ones are Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad. Oh, included Batman by accident. Matt Reeves' Batman was included by accident. But the top ones are Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, and Shazam.
Oh. I can see the Suicide Squad being up there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like
it wasn't a bad it was technically a reboot from Suicide Squad, but
no.
It was not that bad.
But you can tell like the worst ones were actually, if you kind of look at everything, I think the colors because I kind of color coordinate everything, the worst ones are actually consistently bad across the board. Is Green Lantern and Suicide Squad from 2016.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But overall, I guess with this list, I wish I could share it. It would make more sense. But with this list, do you feel like DCEU's gotten any better over time?
To me, no. I have left the bar at the floor.
But
like,
if you look at the
I just find it very interesting because DC is very inconsistent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's like, for example, like the Snyderverse, like we can go off of that. They were like, they made this man do his extended movie of Justice League, which is like a 4-parter, right? Because of budgeting issues and like CGI stuff of Henry. And so he had to redo that and everything.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting. It took him, what, like a couple years, right? Mm-hmm. Because he left the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Or he left the Snyder version of Justice League during COVID.
Yeah.
But I just find it very interesting. It's very inconsistent because Snyder is a very dark type of like director.
Yeah.
Because he likes his palette to be like gray, white, black. But then you look at everything else on this list, like Wonder Woman, Peacemaker, Shazam. It's all very colorful, like red, blue, Aquaman even. I mean, it's based off of what they are, really.
Yeah,
Makes sense. I just find that Snyder went into a different direction, which was not bad.
I think it's just how it was portrayed in the movies. Like how the movies were essentially, how the cinematography came across. It was very, there was a meme, there was like the whole trope of like all his movies are just very muted colors, very dark, very gray palette, essentially.
Very filtered. Everyone was
very
like, "Oh,
filtered.
I just gotta put the gray filter on and watch the movie."
It's a Snyder movie at that point, and
it
do be like that, honestly. But as you could like, if you look at the score, like if you look at the scores, a lot of them, all the good ones are not Snyder movies, except
no, they're not.
But it's really funny to see how the Justice League movie and then the Snyder movie or Snyder cut, it jumped like so much. It went from like a 39 to like a 71, or it went positive more often than not. But But I think
it all went positive.
Yeah, but I think the big thing is there's not a consistent. You know how with Marvel movies, at least in my opinion, they should at least be a 6 or 7 at minimum. Yeah. That's like at least the quality I expect, because that's pretty consistent. Because they play it relatively safe.
They have a formula. That's what MCU does. Yeah. They have a formula in TV and movie, so you know what you're going to expect. Yeah. TV is a little bit more experimental now because they're going to do more episodes, but they were always a 6-episode TV series. Yeah. And then movies, you expect the one-liner humor, you expect the 3-act part. Like the fights are really good. The acting is relatively up to par, depending on the actor. So you know what you're getting to MCU. With DCEU, you don't know the scripting. There was a lot of directors coming in and out. Yeah. I think Snyder and Patty Jenkins were like the main ones. Before James Gunn came into it, took over like Peacemaker to Suicide Squad and whatever. Yeah. But yeah, it's just very interesting. It's very back and forth. I think with recent news with James Gunn being like co-chair, CEO with another producer, that might help a lot in where the direction is going to go moving forward, especially after Black Adam. Because The Rock has been talking a lot of
He's been hyping up his own stuff a lot, but he's also known to hype up his own stuff a lot. Like that's not a surprise. Yeah. But yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that's the issue is you can tell by all these scores. I mean, just in how people perceive DCEU, it's just like there's no concrete goal or like through line or any like, I guess, vision, right? At least, and I think that's why MCU has like, Kevin Feige is like honestly a blessing for the MCU. Oh yeah. And that I think that's the issue is like at least they were able to like iron it out and like they don't have all these hands in the pot like WB, DCE. And I think the issue with the DC side is they put a lot of not emphasis, but they kind of give their directors or like actors a lot more. It feels more experimental, and it's like
sometimes it's free reign too.
Super free reign.
Sometimes they go off script.
And let's say like for Black Adam, I think that was the issue of, I think trying to remember. My brother mentioned this. The director wanted to have, because he was trying to add people for the Justice Society, but he couldn't get Stargirl because the director for that, yes, and they can't do that because they're like, oh, don't touch my stuff. I think that's the other issue of like, there's some like kind of, I own like this part. Yeah, it's like gatekeeping within their own freaking company, and it's like while MCU is like, oh, let's have this cameo, and some people like that. I mean, it feels good because it feels established. While here, it's a struggle to even get that feeling. Like they have the Justice League, but it feels very duct taped together.
Yeah, exactly. And to go off of that, like especially going back to MCU, we keep talking about we should have just done MCU versus. Actually, no, we have done that before. That's funny.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the whole issue. No,
but that's the whole issue,
that's still a good point for DC. Is like there's a comparison to be had.
Yeah, no, but like when you're talking about characters and stuff jumping in and out of MCU, I always think of Wong now because he's in and out of like literally every TV series and almost every movie after like Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
So he's just been like hopping in. But I think it's been, Kevin is definitely a blessing. And with, like I said, I think it'll be really good for James Gunn to like take over because he's a very nerdy man. Like he actually has a formula, if you noticed, in the Suicide Squad and like Peacemaker. And like Guardians of the Galaxy too. He's a big nerd. He likes to stick to the material and then kind of go off script, like let his actors go off script a little bit. I think that's kind of the magic of how James Gunn can make an unlikable character a little more likable.
Yeah.
A little more bearable.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you know what the interesting thing is? That everyone was talking about, I'm talking about like future releases now, but like The Flash was supposed to be like the Flashpoint and kind of like switch everything around. But with the Ezra Miller drama and he's kind of going into like court mode now, I'm not too sure where that's going to go.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's just the other unfortunate part because can you point out to like, I think the DC or at least Warner Brothers side has more issues with actors that are very apparent, like Amber Heard, Ezra Miller, like it's like that kind of stuff just pops up a bit more. They're more high profile issues, while if there are issues to MCU, it's not as high profile or it doesn't stick as long. It
doesn't stick out as much either.
Because let's be real, there are issues most likely. It's just can't really. Yeah.
We don't see it, especially with MCU. Like you don't see it that often. And if you do, it's probably like a director or something that has like the issue, not the actor itself.
Yeah. So
really,
it do be like that, and that's the issue.
Oh yeah, I got a question for you. How do you feel about Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice?
Okay, I was gonna add this because I was gonna flip over to Batman stuff because I think that's also a good point. Because we were questioning why can't they do anything good with Batman? Because Batman v Superman, I forget that the second part's Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
I have a better feeling about it when I talk about it, but then the more I think about the movie, I'm like, it wasn't that great. You're all right. It's fine. I think I was just hyped with like the Batman sequences. Honestly, the warehouse fight or like how things were handled. But overall, the movie was a snore fest, and you can actually count how many times Superman talks, and it's like, what? His lines were like under 30 or something, 30 lines or something. I remember seeing the 9. Like someone counted the amount of times he talks, and it was like super low.
Well, he was staring most of the time.
He was staring most of the time, so I'm like,
I almost fell asleep on Henry.
Because on the flip side, when you look at like the scores, the highest scoring is still like if you look at DCU, it's Peacemaker, but then you look at the Dark Knight series, it's like 90s across 9s and 8s, and it's just consistently good.
It's just consistently good.
Yeah, and it's this is what I was kind of pointing to, how we view everything prior to like Batman movies as good because the trilogy is honestly really good, and that took up like from 2005 to 2012, right?
Which was great. That was like
so
most
almost
of
a decade. Like
a decade, yeah.
And people were, that's the expectation. So when you came to DCU and Man of Steel came out, it was, I think critics didn't like it as much, but the audience was like, it still was good. I felt like it was a decent watch for a Superman, but it was
okay.
But of course, you start comparing to like Christopher Reeves and all that stuff. It's not as good, probably, because it's not as established, right? It's building up. But I felt like they gave a pretty decent scientific reason of why Superman does things. Anyway, that's why people are like, okay, maybe the Snyderverse is not a bad idea because MCU's already doing it, blah, blah, blah. So then WB's like, screw it.
We'll
Let's
try
give it to
this
them.
out.
We'll try this out now.
Yeah.
It'll happen now.
Try it out now.
And then
it didn't work out.
That's great.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, because even though we think Batman, it's like, oh, why can't they do a good Batman movie? I'm like, looking at the scores, the worst movie.
Tell me what the worst one is.
Not Green Lantern. It's not Suicide Squad.
But what is it?
It's Batman and Robin. The George Clooney one. It
got the Bat Nips.
Bat Nips. But it got a 12 on Rotten Tomato critic, a 16 on the Rotten user score, 3.7 on IMDb. The only score that's under a 5.
Oh, yikes.
And then the 28, the lowest one.
Metacritic.
And of course, Metacritic. Yeah. So, not the lowest Metacritic, but again, Metacritic is weird with that sense.
It's probably why Clooney does not talk about Batman anymore.
Probably. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Like the DC or WB released like a documentary on like the Batman suits, for instance, and it was weird to see Clooney up there. But
it was so weird.
Yeah, but it's funny because people say, "Oh, the Batman movies were so good," but when you sort it by like a lot of these, they weren't the greatest. I think it's just because Keaton was I think the earliest one.
I think Keaton, yeah.
Yeah, Keaton was the earliest one, so that's why people have that in their like. That's a special place in their hearts because that was like one of the first few times they see him on the screen. I mean, even I remember my mom like talked about it. She's like, yeah, it was so cool to see, but also weird to see Batman just getting beat up. Yeah. But then like there weren't that many amazing Batman movies. Other than the trilogy.
Outside of Nolan.
Yeah, outside of Nolan. Well, the Batman also did pretty well too, though. Pattinson.
Oh, Pattinson.
Yeah. But
that was recent.
That was a recent one, but that's what I'm saying.
And that doesn't count as DC, right? EU.
That is not. That's why it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why DC's also stupid in their sense of that, but they play it safe with Batman because they know it's gonna do well. It pulls in people.
Do well either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And guess what? He's a variant.
I guess
Robert's a variant.
We're pulling all these numbers, and it's just more like I just want to kind of discuss how drastic it is because there are a lot of scores. If you see it, critic scores are obviously high. Sometimes user scores low, and sometimes it's an inverse.
Yeah.
But I guess, do you have any hope that DCEU can get better? You mentioned how it could get better after the switch with James Gunn and
what's his name? I forget.
Essentially, like they're changing out.
They're co-chairs, basically. Co-CEO, co-chairs.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I have hope because James Gunn likes to be within the material source.
Yeah.
I'm just a little scared about who's gonna direct it, you know?
I think it's more overhead too. It's like director, but also like above that too. It's above like, WB DC can like pull something and say, oh no, we should do this too.
Yeah.
And like make it worse.
And I kind of wish they slowed down a bit because Nolan, that's its own entity that no one will ever touch. Nolan's stuff. It's just so good in and out. And I think director, especially like Patty Jensen, like Tim Burton, Snyder, even Gunn himself, they just need more direction. Because it's always drastically different when you do Snyder and then you go switch it to like Matt Reeves or something, or Nolan. And I think they just need to be more consistent in their material. Because there's a lot of material. Like, the comics are really good. And I think they can pull a lot of stuff from the comics and, like, animated series.
Yeah.
I just think they need to start over on, like a new book, basically.
Yeah. No, they do. Because you made a good point. I think all they need to do is do what the animated series have been doing. Animated universe have a consistent, sometimes they like twist things from the comic source, but they still try to pull from it. They do some things,
and the twists are good,
but the twists are good,
really
or like
good.
It's good enough, right? It matches with the universe. I think the best one is like the New 52 universe, quote unquote.
Yep.
For animated, it went from start to finish. Like, it had a finish. It had its end game. I think that's why, and it's a good example of how DC should do things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
I'm in the middle of that, actually.
Yeah.
The New 52.
Eventually, I think I'm doing this as like a live action thing, but also like we should jump off into like the animated universe for a bit too.
We should.
Yeah.
We should.
Overall, I think
they
just don't have direction. I think that's the TLDR. They just need direction. They need a Feige. It's been said over time and time again, but I think we just want to say it here, honestly, officially.
We just want to leave our piece here.
Yeah. I like DC, and I wish they would be handled better, and that's it.
You love DC. We both love DC.
Yeah.
We both love Batman.
Yeah.
I think we just have been a little too disappointed in the past decade, 15 years of our lives. And the bar was so low for Black Adam that we just kind of just went in like, okay, here we go.
That's where I looked at the scores too on this. I'm like, Black Adam got like a 40 with critics, but like a 90.
A 90?
But it's like mid scores everywhere else. So to me, it made more sense. I was like, some people, I guess, just had more fun with it. I guess I was just more like, I had low expectations too, but apparently not low enough. You had lower than mine, and I was just like, this is weird. But other than that, I just kind of wanted to touch on DCU as like one
a little
topic.
Bit more.
Yeah. Somewhat deep dive, but we'll probably go deeper later. But you got anything else?
Deeper later. No. Watch the Nolan trilogy. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying too. But if we got nothing else, I'm just gonna close it out. Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon at NgoVo Convo and NgoVo Convo. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button and notification bell to get updates for when we upload. And
like button.
Subscribe.
Below me.
That's actually below Veronica.
Like button and then subscribe below me.
Easy. But yeah, just let us know how we're doing. What you want to see next. Play, read, watch, whatever.
Read, watch. Do more of this weird topic stuff.
Yeah.
We just kind of go off
We're experimenting
tangent,
kind of.
It's fine. Yeah, we're experimenting a little bit.
Trying it out.
We love it.
I'll do better because I obviously don't know how to use Google Sheets as well as Excel awkwardly.
It's fine.
I did it mainly for you so you could see, but I also learned didn't help me at all.
This will be a chaotic episode.
More chaotic than I expected. But yeah, other than that, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.